Take Paws has been made possible by support from the following Community Foundation of Broward funds. And by Broward County Animal Care and Adoption, where you can adopt a new best friend for life.
Out in the world, if you decide to pet an unfamiliar canine, it's a mistake to assume it's going to react in a friendly way. Just because you decided to interact with it doesn't mean that it has decided to interact with you. Dogs don't communicate the same way we do. They use a different body language, and what you may think is very friendly behavior on your part could be misinterpreted on the dog's part. For that matter, dogs can even have trouble communicating between breeds, so why would we think a dog would understand our intentions? Well, we may not have tails for wagging, but there are other ways to greet an unfamiliar dog.
Traditionally, people handle their pets by hugging them, kissing them, petting them on the head. Usually that's not what dogs like. They don't usually like head pets. They don't usually like hugs or kisses. They'll tolerate it, but that doesn't mean that they like it. How do you greet a dog? How do you properly handle a dog? When greeting a dog, you should always, especially children and adults, ask the owner, "Can I pet your dog?" If the owner says yes, now you have to ask the dog, "Can I pet you?" How do you ask a dog? I typically will show my fist, put it down by my side, and see if the dog comes to sniff it. If the dog comes to sniff it, great. If not, the dog probably doesn't want to be greeted, and that's okay. We don't greet everybody that we see in the street walking by, and the same with our pets. We kind of get this notion in our heads that we always have to greet and pet every single dog that we see, but that's not the case. So always ask the owner, ask the dog, and then if the dog does want to be pet, he will come up to you for petting. If not, just leave them alone. I typically don't pet any unfamiliar dogs, any clients that I work with, or strange dogs that I see on the street. You don't know their history, you don't know their past, so really you want to protect yourself, protect your kids, and protect the dog. Body language is a very important aspect when dealing with your pets. It's important to be able to read your dog's body language, and it's important what your body language is telling to the dog. Sometimes when you go over a dog and hover over a dog, it's very intimidating for a dog. Running up to a dog in excitement, that's why it's very important with kids around dogs to make sure that they walk slow or just manage the dog and put him away if they're going to be in an excited state. Also, you want to make sure that you're not being real loud and sometimes using your hands a lot for the dog will get the dog very scared. Remember, you don't know all dogs' backgrounds or history, so you don't know what experiences they have had in the past. Now, what about the dog? How are you supposed to read the dog's body language to see if they're uncomfortable? There's certain signs and signals that we can look for that can help us read the dog. One of them is the tail wagging. Tail wagging does not always mean that a dog is happy. It just means excitement. So you always want to watch. Is the dog really happy, or is he just excited? If the dog is really happy, they'll have their mouth open, tail wagging, maybe some panting, and a very relaxed body posture. But still, you always want to ask the dog first if they want to be pet. What signs can you see that aren't very comfortable for a dog? We call these calming signals. Calming signals are displacement behaviors. They're behaviors that a dog gives that shows they're tolerant of what you're doing, but maybe they're not that comfortable. These things are yawning when the dog's not tired, shaking off as if the dog is wet but he's not, lip licking, averting the eyes. We call them whale eyes. It's when you see the whites of the eyes. These are all telltale signals that the dog is not comfortable. For instance, I had a client that she said, every time I hug my dog, he yawns. I said, stop hugging your dog. Your dog's being tolerant of that, but he doesn't really like it. Like I said before, most dogs are tolerant, but that doesn't mean they like it. I don't like people playing with my hair. So it's the same kind of thing. Just because I'll tolerate it, but that doesn't mean that I like it. So the same with dogs. If you're petting your dog and he's licking his lips or he's yawning, he probably doesn't like what you're doing. I had a client yesterday that grabbed the dog in the face and kissed him so tight right after the dog's licking. The dog tolerated it and may never bite or may never growl, but he doesn't like it. So don't we want to make our dogs happy? So please read the calming signals of your dogs. A very common misconception is that all dogs love belly rubs. This in fact is not true. Some dogs will actually give you their belly as a calming signal, saying, hey, back off, I don't want you to pet me, and give their belly. If you continue to pet that dog, you can maybe get a snap or a growl. So be very careful, especially with unfamiliar dogs, with the belly rubs. What if a dog does become uncomfortable in a situation and you miss the signs? That happens all the time. If a dog growls, or if he snaps, or if he bites. A dog that growls is a good thing. You always want a dog that growls because that dog is warning you, hey, I'm uncomfortable, please back off. And you always want to listen to that. You want to tell your children and kids that too. So always tell mom or dad if a dog growls, because if you miss the growl the next time, it could be a bite. If your dog is growling in situations, you really want to contact a professional certified trainer to deal with these things. It's very important to do things the right way, in a force-free way. So you always want to be very careful with a dog that growls. The next time it could be a bite. Now, just because your dog growls, that does not mean he's going to bite all the time. It's asking for space. Your dog is asking for space, so you want to listen to that. If he's growling, he's saying, I need space, please back off, and you want to listen to that. Now, the reasons behind it, that's where you want to contact a professional trainer to better help you in the situation. You never, ever want to correct a growl. You always want a dog to growl because that's their way of saying, please give me space. In closing, you want to always use appropriate caution when dealing with your dogs and unfamiliar pets. Remember, watch your body language, watch your dog's body language, look for the calming signals in your dog and listen to them. The dog growls, back off and give them some space. Remember, contact a certified professional trainer if you need help with your pets so that you can have a long, happy, safe life with them.
If you'd like to help support Take Paws through sponsorship or by making a donation, call 754-321-1000 or go to BECON.TV.